Welcome to Geek on Film with your host, Robbie Holmes. Hey there, folks. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 5, my recap of the Sundance Film Festival. This year I was able to attend virtually. Hopefully they will keep that in place, even though there was some issues with some pirating of specific clips of films that were on the platform. This year I was lucky enough to see 4 episodes of a new TV show, 9 feature-length films, 2 of them were documentary, and then I was able to see 44 short films. So across 4 days, I watched an awful lot of media. Let's start off with some of the really good. The first thing I saw was Hal and Harper. Well, the first thing we're going to talk about is I saw Hal and Harper. It was created by Cooper Raiff, and it stars Cooper Raiff, Lily Reinhart as siblings, Hal and Harper, and then you have Mark Ruffalo playing their father, and then his their stepmom or his Mark Ruffalo's second wife is played by Betty Gilpin as Kate. And there's a bunch of other people that are in this show, but I think we'll focus very much on the core 4. I was truly impressed by this, but I'm also kind of in the bag for what Cooper Raiff does. Our friends at IMDb have this listed as 2 siblings preserve their childhood, even though their single father forces them to grow up too fast. It seems a little loose, but I will go one step further. There's a tragedy that happens to the family when the children are younger, and that creates a situation where I feel like the siblings have to rely on one another more than they should. They also don't have a lot of support from their father, who is also going through it and is not always the most present, even though he would like to be, it seems like. The conceit of the show is that often when we're going back in time to seeing flashbacks, that the actors who are playing Hal and Harper are playing the younger versions themselves. So you'll see Cooper Raiff sitting in a chair next to a first grader having a conversation that he had when he was that age. It's really impressive. It's a surprising conceit that worked really well for me. I think it's the best thing that I saw. I saw the first 4 episodes. I think it's the best thing I saw at Sundance. I love the fact that they have these possibilities available on the actual platform. Also, I really think it's cool that they are embracing some more independent television and episodic TV. This is an aspect of Sundance that I think is really unique and could become a really big deal. I love the shorts. I love documentaries. I love feature-length films. I would really like them to embrace this because there's going to be more and more independent television made. And I think this still doesn't have distribution that I'm aware of, but I cannot wait to watch the final 4 episodes, but I can't wait to rewatch it with my wife. This show is way up my alley and is truly the exact type of thing that Cooper does that I love. He often plays problematic, innocent, like man children, and seeing him play this and play the child version of the character that he is almost like no one else could have done this exact story. I really loved it. I can't wait to see the rest of it, and you should be excited. Keep an eye out for it. Again, it's called Hal and Harper. Next up, we'll talk about the feature-length films that I watched. I will say across those films I watched, there was a lot of variance of quality. I watched 9 films. I used one of my tickets. So I had a ticket that gave me 10 feature films. I used one of those tickets to purchase access to the television show Hal and Harper, which was a really good spend. Like the ROI on that was fantastic. I could have watched like 8 hours of a television show for one feature-length ticket. I watched 9 films, two documentaries out of those 9. I leaned towards dramatic and feature films as opposed to feature-length documentaries. And I know that I should probably lean more into the documentary space here at Sundance. There's often 2 or 3 that come out of this crop that become the big documentaries for the next season. So let's talk about those. I think there are 2 documentaries that I saw that I chose very wisely. The first one was Deaf President Now. So Deaf President Now is, according to IMDb, in 1988, deaf students at Gallaudet University protested until the school appointed its first deaf president, Dr. King Jordan, making a pivotal moment for deaf rights and representation. This was directed by Niall DeMarco and Davis Guggenheim, and the really the movie is about the people who were there on the ground. So that is Bridget Fiery and Jerry Conville, Greg Hillebach, and I. King Jordan and Tim Raris. Those are, I think, the four main people that are a part of this. So there's a lot of other people that are part of this movie, that are in this movie, but I think the reality is it's focused on these four major players of the student body and this dean that was one of the three people that was up for president of Gallaudet when they were replacing their president in 1988. The three candidates, two of them were non-deaf candidates, and one was deaf and was a dean of the school. And none of the other candidates had any action, connective tissue to the deaf community. They didn't speak ASL. They were not capable to, in the students' opinions, represent their best interests and the needs of their students. I was truly moved by this. I'll say I gave it 4.5 stars with a heart over on Letterboxd. It was, I said, a truly moving and impressive documentary. So much framing and details to set the audience in Gallaudet students' perspective. One of the best of the fest at Sundance 2025. I'm also really excited. My friend John he works over at Gallaudet. He's a very close friend, and he was over in Sundance with this film trying to help move this along. And I just could not be more excited for what this film has ahead of it and how much it will hopefully shine a spotlight on this specific time at Gallaudet, but also the deaf community and deaf culture in America and how we should be embracing more aspects of it. I really love this movie, and I think you will fall in love with the cast of characters. They are characters, there's no doubt. All four of them are very unique people who the entire documentary is surrounding. But I think you'll walk away from it similarly to me, thinking that it was an impactful, educational, and entertaining documentary. I think it has a lot of potential going forward this year. Next up, we're going to talk about Predators. This is a movie that was directed by David Ossett, and our friends over at IMDb have it as exploring the controversial NBC series that caught potential child predators in sting operations, leading to arrests and its eventual cancellation. I was really moved by this. I will tell you that it is a let me just read you my Letterboxd review. A truly uncomfortable and sad documentary. Many skin-crawling moments. The framing of a person looking at the show and copycats is fascinating and reframes the history of the show. The final act of the documentarian and other members interview folks involved in the stings and shows the vulnerability about why they're doing it and their motivations, and honesty is truly moving. I gave this 4.5 stars. I really cannot tell you how much this hit me. I feel like it was probably like a 3.5 star documentary until about the last 40 minutes. And then there's this amazing reveal that ends up happening and almost confessional with a camera being left on and the director talking about their experience. And that was unreal. It was very, very good. If you get a chance, you should definitely seek out Predators. It was a really good documentary. It made me think. It made me care. It made me more educated about the system. It made me question, and it really is a big one about questioning why we watch the show. What is it we were hopeful to get out of it? And that is part of what is discussed in the final third of the film. You know, what it is. What is it that we, the viewers, were hoping to see when we saw these episodes? So I'm going to talk about 4 more films, but I'm going to go pretty quickly. The first is Plainclothes. Plainclothes is really impressive. Let me just say, it was written and directed by Carmen Emmy, and our friends at IMDb have it as a promising undercover agent assigned to lure and arrest gay men defies professional orders when he falls in love with a target. I said the film was so moving. The script and direction are amazing. The award for the ensemble at Sundance is well deserved. I was truly impressed with this movie, and it really reframed a few actors. So in this movie, you have Tom Blythe playing Lucas, who is the main cop that is in these sting operations, and he falls for Andrew, who is played by Russell Tovey, who is unbelievable in this movie. Tom Blythe is also really like a wreck. He is moved emotionally by how he feels, about how guilty he feels. It's a really unreal performance. I was so impressed. and then the sort of family drama of it, like the cultural segregation that Lucas is going through, that Tom Blythe is feeling in his own home. It really moved me because it is so conceived. It uses like patterns of jumping to like footage that is being shot on a VHS tape as part of the framing device. It feels so well thought out and well constructed. Carmen Emmy has so much gravitas and so much control over the story that he's telling. I was really, really blown away. Like, this feels not like a debut film. This feels like somebody's 15th film. The control of the narrative, the control of the storytelling, the editing, the timing of this film, and the reveals and how it goes about is really, it's the thing I would say is control. They also utilize amazing actors to play these characters, but he gets so much out of them. Maria Dizia plays his mother, plays Lucas's mother, and she's fantastic. Like, the amount of emotion that you can feel in her and in her interactions with her son, and with the way that the story unfolds, she is just like cooking in this movie. She's so good, and I just think there's so many aspects of this that really feel beautiful and sad, and I think everybody should see this movie. I'm really excited for it to come out. I think that you should definitely give it a watch. I think it moved me so much, and I couldn't be more excited for people to get a chance to see this. Next up, we're going to talk about two films that were international films, and both were award winning. So the first one is the things you kill. Ali Razi Khatami's wrote and directed this film. Haunted by the suspicious death of his ailing mother, a university professor coerces his enigmatic gardener to execute a cold-blooded act of vengeance. I gave this 3.5 stars. I felt myself slipping while watching this movie virtually on my couch. I reset, I rolled it back, and it was well worth it. The movie is complicated, it is moving, and it hits on all levels. I will say I was really having a hard time with this movie. There's a complicated conceit in the movie that is not obvious. I think the director is not spoon feeding you anything here. It almost has like a Lynchian feel in the way that the story is unfolding. And I would say if you like films that don't hold your hand and are going to expect you to keep up, and that are well shot, well directed, well acted, and a little complicated, this is way up your alley. This movie really impressed me. The actors who starred in this film are Hazar Agugli, Iken Kasan, Iken Cook, and Uriken Kulak Kostendal. Really unbelievable across the board. From the story, the father, who's being played by Erkin Cassell, he is this sort of complicated older man, very set in his ways, doesn't understand his son, doesn't understand his life, is cheating on his mother. The main character's mother is sick and ill, and yeah, it's a very complicated story, and you really need to be ready to watch this. That's why I would say, if you get a chance, see this in a theater where you're latched into a room and you feel like you're able to focus 100%. There's no two screening for this film, but it does pay off, and it's well worth watching. The second one would be, its title is Sabar Bonda, but you can find it as Cactus Pears. Its translated title over on Letterboxd. Anand is a 30-something city dweller compelled to spend a 10-day mourning period for his father in the rugged countryside of Western India. Tenderly bonds with a local farmer struggling to stay unmarried. This movie, I gave it 3.5 stars, and I said it was an intimate, intense queer love story where the protagonist returns to his family after a death in rural India. Slow and methodical, but compelling and moving. The performances that are on display in this movie are all fantastic. Bashan Manang plays Anand, and then Suraj Suman plays Balya, who is the local farmer that they fall in love, and it's really well done and really, really unbelievably moving. But the town is constantly harping on the culture of these men need to find husbands, and they don't acknowledge or understand in any way, shape, or form that these men are in love with one another, or that they may not want to have a wife. And I think the it's written and directed in this unbelievably beautiful and compelling way. So I want to shout out Rohan Kanawad, who wrote and directed this film. It's really beautiful. Again, it's the epitome of like sort of slow core. It's a very like intimate, lots of conversations, lots of looks kind of film. But in the end, I found it compelling and unbelievably beautiful. You should be lucky enough to see this film. Okay, the last one I wanted to shout out is Didn't Die. The premise for this movie, according to IMDb, is as a zombie apocalypse unfolds, a podcast host struggles to maintain their dwindling audience amidst the chaos. This was written by Paul Gleason and Mira Menon and directed by Mira Menon. My review of it, I gave it 3.5 stars over on Letterboxd, and I said, super charming family inside of this modern take on a classic zombie film. It's very influenced by Day of the Dead for sure, but also Shaun of the Dead if you squint. The choice of shooting in black and white truly works, makes the film have more weight. I wish the zombie attack sequences weren't as shaky and handheld feeling. For me, it takes away from the intensity of the attacks. The heightened focus on the audio during the podcast scenes feels right and different than the audio at other times. Lots to like about this film. There was an interview over on the No Film School Interviews podcast talking about the film that I linked to. I like this movie. I thought it was really charming. I think Kieran Dial is fantastic as Vanita. I think she's quippy and funny and defensive, protecting herself with her humor and charm. And I think she's really, really good. Vincent is played by George Basil, who's her ex-boyfriend, who they run back into. And then her brother is played by Hari. Hari is played by Samarket Charak Barty, and his husband Barbara is played by Katie Mahuan. But I think the reality here is you're seeing it's very much an allegory, I think, for COVID, when bringing in people from outside of a bubble into the bubble. How do you know they're safe? So it feels a lot like it is a COVID parable more than it is almost a zombie apocalypse movie. But zombie movies are often a way to get across an idea so I think it's a lot of processing. It felt like a lot of processing of their experience of folks during the pandemic. Yeah, big shout out. Kieran Dial is really, the whole movie really rests with her and her charm and her ability to loop us into how she's feeling, even if at times that she's using that feeling is being repressed and she's putting up a false front. I think there's so much more that can be done with this concept, but also I think Kieran Dial should be getting more roles like this. That's, I think, it for me on the feature side. I'm going to talk a little bit about a few of these short films. So I think I would love to start off with M and Selma Go Griffin Hunting. This is, according to IMDb, an allegory of the 1930s set fable about mothers and daughters and the beasts they hunt. I gave this 4.5 stars over at Letterboxd, and I will say I can't get over the effects and the production design of this film. The short is great and something special. In this movie, we have Pollyanna McTinnish playing Selma and Millie Shapiro playing M. I think you will recognize both of these actors if you go look them up. I will say it feels like a calling card for a larger film. I was really impressed with the level of effects that were on display for this. The Griffins are beautiful. They feel natural. They have a gruffness to them. I think there's a weight to everything that's happening in this movie. It really did feel like Pretty Pleased with Sugar on Top. I'm going to give you the first 18 minutes of a film or a prelude to a film. I think this could be really fleshed out and turned into something much larger. I love the black and white use here. I think it's beautifully shot, and I'm just really impressed. I couldn't give this much more credit. It was really good, and it was also really early in my watching of shorts, so I was like really excited. I'm going to jump over to Ragamuffin. This is one of the ones I saw. It was near the end of my time watching this. Ragamuffin is written and directed by Caitlin Michaela. A young female motocross rider, Ryan Ragamuffin Miles, spends what seems like an average race weekend with her father, Mad Mike. But as the weekend unfolds, 12-year-old Ryan is faced with a cacophony of challenges on and off the track. I gave this 4.5 stars, and I said I would a world I know nothing about and wish there was a feature that this would inspire. It is a great premise and a really great short. Direction, cinematography, acting are really great. This movie is Left me wanting more. Eden Harper, who plays Ryan, is fantastic. She's sort of this odd duck daughter of a racer who's retired, and it really brings us into the world of dirt bike racing and how it's almost like a circus, like everybody moves together. Madlock as Mad Mike is really great as this sort of overconfident, ex racer. He feels a lot like the big kahuna, right? He knows everything about racing but races no more. He's really unreal in this. And then you have a couple of other really fantastic performances by Courtney Dietz as Cinnamon and Bailey Sloan as Bryce. And then Michael Aaron Milligan as the sponsor, who's trying to sponsor our lead character. It's really well done. It's really well shot. It feels very immersive. At times, it almost felt like a documentary, like we just plopped a camera into a motocross event, even though it is a little caricaturesque. It feels like these are the type of people that we might run into, even though it's not my world. So I really liked it. I wish there was more of this coming. I really hope that Caitlin Michaela gets to tell a longer story in this world, but I also just want to see Caitlin Michaela do more stuff. The amount of restraint and the amount of control they seem to have over the storytelling, over the story they were trying to tell, of the story they were writing, and then the story that they ended up with on the screen is really powerful. They were very, very good at what they were doing. One that I saw that it was so funny and very, very witty and charming is Out for Delivery, which was written and directed by Chelsea Christer. According to our friends at IMDb, Joanna is facing a terminal illness and opts for an assisted death under the Death with Dignity Act. However, her pursuit of a peaceful end-of-life experience encounters unexpected complications and challenges. This movie's premise is crazy and fun, and I felt like really we immediately were set into a different future where it is possible for you to say, like, I have a life-threatening illness and I would like to end my life. It was really well done. It felt very realistic. It felt like it was possible. Over on IMDb, I give it 4 stars. I said a truly clever and sharp script, great performances and direction. The cinematography and production design are great. Everything about this felt like the real world. It almost could have been we are in a different timeline, in a multiverse where this is acceptable, and we just put a camera there. You have Deanna Rooney playing Joanna, who is the character who has the illness and would like to end their life. And then Martin Starr is playing Mark, who is the person who has been contracted. His company picks up bodies. So because Joanna was able to order their life-ending kit, they knew that their body would be available to pick up, and they didn't want it to be anybody else. They wanted it to be done by this company, and things go sideways. So the Out for Delivery is, where are her medications that are going to end her life? And it turns out that they are out for delivery and they can't find it. And then she realizes it's delivered to her neighbor, and then comedy ensues. Like, it is poignant. It is sad. It is funny. It's really great. I really loved it. I think you should keep an eye out for this. It's one that I really hope will find its way to next year's Oscar conversation. So next we're going to jump into Reality of Hope. This is written by, it is directed by Joe Hunting, and our friends at IMDb have it as a virtual reality creator, Hayu, is facing kidney failure, and his online friend, Photograph Hotter, travels from New York City to Stockholm to be a live donor to Hayu. The 2 main characters in this are Alex Davidson and Jack Parsons. It is a true life documentary, short. And I will say I gave it 4.5 stars. It's a truly sweet, moving documentary, community and connection inside of VR and in the real world. What a great story and documentary. I really felt strong vibes of The Remarkable Life of Evelyn when watching this. A lot of the interviews are taking place inside the VR space, and we get a chance to be a part of this community and see how they connected and how much online communities like this can be real community. And so much so that it spilled out into the real world. I was moved and charmed by this. The friendship that these 2 men have is really amazing. The fact that they only met via this online community, and then one of them was willing to travel halfway across the world and donate a kidney to another, is really moving. It's charming. It's sweet. It's well done. The story pacing is fantastic. It's a 30-minute short, and it could have been longer. It could have been drawn out, but I feel like the restraint that was shown in doing the movie in this time period was perfect. If it had been shorter, we wouldn't have gotten the whole story or felt like we understood what was going on. But if it was longer, it would have probably felt like it was dragging. It was sort of poignant and perfect the way it was made. I really love this. Keep an eye out for it. I expect this will be showing its head again next year. The last one I'm going to talk about is Tiger. Tiger is written and directed by Lauren Waters, and it stars Dana Tiger. So our friends at IMDb have this as Tiger highlights the Indigenous award-winning, international acclaimed artist and elder Dana Tiger, her family, and the resurgence of the iconic Tiger t-shirt company. For me, I gave it 4 stars and a very short review saying it was a moving and tragic documentary with a huge amount of hope. This is the story of the artist Dana Tiger and her family. So the Tiger t-shirt brand was nothing but family members that came together and designed t-shirts, silkscreen t-shirts, and created an entire business and brand around their family. And it sort of fell into disrepair and is back up and running. And this is sort of a very talking head documentary about their family and about the company they were a part of and about the world that they're leaving it to. I really loved it. It was really moving, and I really, really liked it. I think for me, that's it from Virtual Sundance. Again, 44 shorts, 9 feature-length films, and 4 episodes of a television show. If you get a chance, I think Virtual Sundance is worth it. And I hope that Sundance will continue to create an online portal that will allow those of us who are not at the site to be a part of this festival. It has always been a way for me to feel connected to that community. I'm not in a position right now to jump over to Park City and spend a week there, but I am able to carve out 4 days on my couch and watch a lot of films and be able to evaluate what I think is going to be part of the next year's season for festivals, and then beyond that, awards. I really love getting this peek into this world, and it gives me an opportunity to see an awful lot of shorts that I might not see otherwise. I'm very, very thankful for that, and I really hope that the festival continues this piece of the world. It's a big part of what makes, for me, this festival even more special. Thank you so much for listening. I look forward to hearing from you about what I missed at Sundance. I know there's a bunch of films that I wish I had gotten to see. Twin List was pulled down off of the portal as one of the films that had some stuff released that wasn't supposed to be pirated. That was one I had a ticket for and wasn't able to get. There's a couple of others. There's a lot of films that are coming this way that I really am excited to see. I also wish that there was more access to these films on the portal, but I understand the concerns of the distributors. Thank you so much. I look forward to talking to you soon. Keep an eye out. I'm going to put out a presence review on the site over at geekonfilm.com. You can find me, Robbie the Geek, everywhere online, or geekonfilm.com or Geek on Film on your social networks of choice. If you go over to geekonfilm.com, you'll find all the social networks. And I look forward to catching up with you next time. I have a bunch of backed up catalog for me to get through before the Oscars, so expect a few episodes to drop fast and furious. But again, I will have that presence review out this week. Have a great week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. This has been a Geek on Film podcast. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.